Welcome, gentlemen, to your first project of the year. What you're going to do is create what we call a mind map, sort of a mapping of a particular subject, which I'm going to show you an example of, which is also located on my site. We're going to use a program called Mindomo. Just go to mindomo.com. You can sign up. It is absolutely free. You do not need to get any upgraded versions. And you can create your own mind map, very similar to this. You'll notice the mind map that's on my website has to do with the historical introduction to mighty physics, which we can scroll out and kind of look at many of the figures. Notice this is not all of the figures of physics within history, but it is a good collection of those that are quite important. There are others that may be left out. So as we start off, we begin with Thales of Miletus from 600 BC. And each time you can create new objects. So Thales, I have inserted a picture of him. I've also created a little text here for him, which is very easy to do when we add notes. Just like that, for a particular subject. Oh, not that one. I'm going to get rid of that. I didn't really have notes for that one. Let's go back to my next one, shall we? Let's go back to Thales. And I have here, if I say we're to add notes, well, there's the notes that I have already. He's the first natural philosopher who hypothesized on the makeup of matter. They weren't called scientists back then. The different types of science and fields of whatever you might want to call science were called philosophy, or the thinkers. And those that talked about the science area were natural philosophers, about all things natural. And once again, I can hover over this and it tells me exactly what he did. Hypothesized about the makeup of matter. We move on to Democritus. And Democritus, whose big discoveries were around 400 BC. He came up with the atomic hypothesis, first of any. Came from the word atomos, which means uncuttable, that the atom is the unchunkable hunk. You cannot break it down any further. It's the smallest version of matter. It can't be broken anymore. It is indestructible, but it is changeable and into there are infinite numbered kinds of atoms, therefore infinite number of elements. Hard elements, soft elements, we have air, we have liquids and solids. It kind of describes how they are. And I can kind of also add little icons here if I wish to. Let me highlight them. I'm going to add an icon. Oh, this is my second size, so I'll call it number 2. And of course, that's the star. Say this is pretty important. The first atomic theory. So, we move on to many other great characters, like Empedocles. Empedocles, who came up with the 4-element hypothesis of fire, earth, air, and water. And you notice I've also attached a link over here, which you can do on the left side, and a hyperlink. I added a link to a particular web page. It's a very good site for a little extra information about him and his 4-element hypothesis and all the different aspects of it, which you can read through. I'll ask you guys all to read through my Mindomo map to kind of go through the history, and as I said, you're going to create your own. Now we move on to many different aspects. We go to Aristotle, Archimedes, Friar Roger Bacon, Sir Isaac Newton, and laws of motion and gravity. We also have Sir Francis Bacon, and you'll notice a lot of different things that have to do with what we had. Francis Bacon one thing that's very important I should note here, hopefully you guys will read on this, that Sir Francis Bacon, who is the father of science, said that all experimentation must be unique. You must prove it. Came up with the scientific method. You must have good data, which can also include on your Mindomo map is a couple videos here. I've included one right here that kind of shows why it is important to collect good data. Let's check it out. Don't judge too quickly. Don't come to conclusions too fast. It's important to use good data. So don't just come up with one idea and say, oh, that must be it. Of course, we have Galileo, and I've also included a little extended one here, what we call I said a floating topic, or a relationship, I should say. I added a relationship between Galileo and Aristotle and found a unique video here, which I would like you guys to check out. Modern day type stuff with some college students. Very good in terms of comparing some of their ideas, especially that about gravity and falling objects, and then how the solar system works. And pay attention to the Pope as well, because the Pope makes a very interesting point that did happen to Galileo. So, move on from Galileo, goes to Sir John Dalton, who was the father of modern chemistry and science. So, he is the father of modern chemistry, as I said. He came up with the modern atomic theory, compared to Democritus, that elements are composed of atoms. They're indestructible, but they're chemically correct. They can't just change form. Atoms are exactly what they are. And all atoms are elements of a chemically correct. In orderly fashion, the atoms combine to form molecules. This is Dalton's law, that different atoms can combine together and form what's called a molecule. Hydrogen and oxygen get together to form water, H2O. Atoms are not changed in the process of forming molecules. All they do is join bonds and separate bonds. So, your project is to create your own mind map, but your topic is this. You're not going to do a history of mighty physics. You're going to come up with your own views of science. I want you to create a map. Use many sources from the internet, use pictures, use videos, different links, and you're going to create your own views of how you see science. What's your favorite scientific subject and why? Discuss different aspects of science. Why is this important? How is the science used in today's modern society? So what you'll do is you'll create your Mindomo, and once you are done, I will have you all upload it to Rockspace, as I will teach you a little bit later. And that will be your first project of the year. As you notice, we're integrating a lot of technology, and this is the first of many. So, good luck to you all. Mr. Deal out.